What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jack. Thanks again for tuning in to another video. Today I'm joined by none other than my little sister, Emma. Emma, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So Emma and I are staying indoors. We're staying healthy. I hope you all are doing the same. I wish you all the best. Hopefully this video can help take away some of that boredom you might be facing. But either way, we're going to be talking about Ableton Live 10 Lite. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you open it up for the first time, give you some tips, some tricks, hopefully help you start making music quicker and using Ableton to the fullest. It's a great software and I love it a lot. Without further ado, Emma, should we get into the video?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy this one and I will see you inside of Ableton. Yeah, you did. Alright, so when you first load up Ableton Live 10 Lite, this is what it's going to look like, and you're going to have to go ahead and authorize it with Ableton.com. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to open up Ableton. It'll do its thing, it'll authorize. And then boom, you've got Ableton Live. So from that point forward, it'll set up your core library, it'll throw everything in there that you need. And the nice thing about this is fully functional, savings enabled, and although it is more limited than some of the more fancy bells and whistle kind of versions of Ableton, this is going to be a good setup to get you started, and you've got full access to the Live Lite software now. So the first thing I want to preface, and you might accidentally hit this button and you might freak out and not know what happened, but Ableton is split up into two views. It's actually what represents their logo, why they've got the horizontal lines and the vertical lines. So right now this would be the horizontal lines or arrangement view, and this is actually the view that I recommend because it translates best to other digital audio workstations or music software. It's got the most similar layout. So stick with this. If you hit tab, these are the vertical lines. I don't recommend using this side of the software. Super powerful, great for live performance, but not really great for what we're doing right now when we just begin using Ableton. So arrangement view, we'll stick here. Now let's do some little housekeeping tips and I'll show you around the software. I'm not going to highlight everything, but I'm going to show you what you need to get started. Before you do anything else, go down to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and click this triangle. That opens up the info view. You can see it right there. Now, any parameter, any button, any function, if I highlight it with the mouse, that little box is going to show us what it is, what it does, and do a little explanation for it. That corner of the screen right there, that box, can teach you Ableton far better than I can because it literally knows the software inside and out. So definitely turn that on. And now let's get into the basics. So on the right here, these are all of our tracks. There are two kinds of tracks in Ableton. There's audio tracks and there's MIDI tracks. Audio works with samples, recorded audio, anything that actually has an audio waveform. And MIDI tracks are going to be our software instruments, our devices controlled by our Ableton Push or our keyboard controller, third-party plugins like Serum, Massive, that kind of stuff would go on those tracks. Now, once you got these tracks, this little section in the middle is the input-output section. So if you're routing with your hardware or you're sending audio from one track to another, that's all going to be in this I/O section. I'm going to go down here and turn that off because for the rest of this tutorial, we won't need it. You can show and hide anything you want right here at any point. Super convenient. These are going to be your return tracks. That's kind of more of a complicated idea. I'm not going to cover it in this video, so we'll just hide that for now. We don't need it. This is your master track. All of the outputs of these tracks are summed through your master at the end. So if you want to affect all of these tracks as a whole, you can put something on the master track. Going back up here, this yellow button with the number, that's your on-off switch. These guys right here, this is your volume control. If you double click any parameter at any time, so like I'll turn this and I'll double click it, it will bring that value back to the default. So don't be afraid to pull and mess around and change values. You can easily bring them back. All right, if you want to minimize a track, you can just hit the arrow next to it. Now here we've got the solo button. This plays only the solo track and mutes everything else. Here's our record enable button. When we record this one, we see that we're getting some monitoring from my microphone. If we record enable the MIDI track, I have to press my keyboard, but it's going to register some MIDI note data. There's no audio information just yet because we haven't yet put a device on that track that will convert the incoming MIDI data into audio. All right, now on the left-hand side here, this is our browser section. So this is where you'll find any of the plugins or samples or devices or audio effects inside of Ableton. But also down here, you can assign places on your computer if you've got sample libraries or folders that you want to pull from. Really helpful. I've got my client folder, my personal music stuff, my project files, my samples. You can actually pull a track out of a different project and put it into Ableton. Super cool. Next, let's go up to Live Preferences. Under Audio, this is the main setting that I want you to pay attention to, and that's your input and output device. If you're not getting audio or sound, this is probably going to be your first place to look. I've got my input set as my interface, and my output is currently set as my virtual driver for my screen capture software. But those two are really the main settings you want to mess around with. If you're curious about any of the other settings, go through the menus. It's really self-explanatory, and you always have the info view on the bottom left-hand corner if you highlight over something. All right, so next we have our bars and beats up at the top here, and our minutes and seconds down here below. This is our loop region selector. You can turn it on and off with this button up here. You can move it around or change the length. Play, stop, and record. Over here we have our beats per minute or our tempo. You can drag it down, drag it up. Remember, double click if you want to reset. Here's a tap tempo. You can tap it to the beat and it will recognize it. Again, double click. This is our metronome on and off. There's some settings here if you want. We'll turn it off. This is our time signature. You probably don't have to mess with that just yet, but you can if you want. And there's stop again. Now, any of our music data, our samples, our MIDI clips are all going to go inside of the timeline here. But there's another really important section of the user interface, and that is the tray down here. And this tray acts as the channel strip for any of the tracks that we have selected. So right now we're selected on this 4 audio. I can select to 3 audio. If I select to one of the MIDI tracks, the instructions here change a little bit because we have to first put an instrument device on before we can put audio effects on to convert the MIDI data into audio. So let's do that right now. We're going to go ahead and go under drums, and we're going to listen through until we find a drum kit that we like. Now, these are not samples or loops. These are actual kits comprised of one-shots and different drum samples. So what you're hearing, the progression or the rhythm, isn't actually going to be what you drag over. Instead, it's just going to be the individual sounds, and then we'll be able to program our own drum rhythm out of those sounds. You want to make sure you have this headphone preview button on. That's going to allow you to hear the different sounds. All right, we'll go with the 808 core kit and we'll drag it over to the MIDI track. You can either drag it to the lane inside of the timeline or to the track itself. Now, a quick little disclaimer. As I go through here, you may see devices that don't show up on your end. That's a little problem that I'm experiencing because I do have the full version of Ableton Live 10 Suite installed. So some of the items that are populating that list are there from the other version of Ableton. And when I try to drag them over, I'll show you that now, I actually get an error like this. So they don't actually come with this version of Live. I can't use them in this version of Live, but I don't know a way to get rid of them just for the purpose of this video. So don't worry if you're missing stuff. That's okay. You're not supposed to have all these things because I can't use them in here either. All right, so once you have the drum kit loaded in, you've got a few things going on here. One, this is your on-off button for any of the device. They're all going to have these on-off buttons. If you want to minimize something, double-click the top. It'll go away. You can open it back up. Here's some controls that are assigned to the drum sounds as a whole. If you want to click on the individual samples, you can go through here. If you want to change the individual sounds, all the settings are going to be on the sampling device right here. If you want to hear it, you can click it right here. If you want to mute an individual sound, you can do that. If you want to solo an individual sound, you can do that, and it will mute all the other sounds. So now that we've got our drum sound, what we're going to do is we're going to create a quick little 8-bar drum progression. So we're going to move our loop segment, shorten it to 8 bars. And if you mouse up here, you'll see a magnifying glass. Click, drag down, you can zoom in and position it as needed. So we've got an 8-bar section. I'm going to select that 8-bar section, and you can right-click and hit Insert MIDI Clips. So we're going to do that, and this creates a container for all of our MIDI data, and it's going to be right here in our timeline. Go ahead and drag this up. Here is all the drum sounds within that kit. We're going to go ahead and click on the headphone icon, and then you'll be able to hear the sound. So I'm going to start with the hi-hat. You can double-click to write them in, or you can hit B on the keyboard, which will turn on the pencil tool. You can click and you can drag. So hit B again to go back to the mouse. And one thing I'm going to do is click on this note. I'm going to pull down the velocity to make it slightly quieter. And then I'm going to select and I'm going to hit Command D on the keyboard to duplicate, just to give it some variation. And you'll see the velocities are changing down here as I do that. All right, so that's that. You'll also notice the color of the note changes with the velocity, just so you can visually see it. But let's get our kick. And we'll have a snare. click to put our snare on the 3 of each bar. Just like before, we've got our bars and beats up here, just like up here. If you zoom in or out, they change to adapt with what you're working with, but it's always a good point of reference as you're creating. I got one extra, so I'll delete that. All right, so let's put the rest of the kick in. Now I'm going to select this and hit duplicate, which is Command D. You could also Command C, Command V for the traditional copy paste, but I like to duplicate. All right, and then I'm going to copy this variation to the end of the last section as well. All right, and that's going to keep looping, so we can pull this back down. All right, so now if we go down here, we can tab over to our devices on that track. All right, now I'm going to grab a compressor, and I'm going to throw that after the drum rack. Kind of hot, but I like it. Hey, if you're enjoying this tutorial, please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe below. It really does mean a bunch, and it will really help me make more videos like this. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get back to it. All right, so now we've got a drum pattern and a rhythm in our track. Let's go ahead and add some chords. So I'm going to go over to Instruments. Let's take Electric, and I'm going to drag it over to the MIDI track. If you drop down on the device, you do have some presets you can sort through. I tend to kind of like using the default, so I just click on that, drag it over, and here's our device right here. You can change all the settings and the sounds and mess with that, but we're going to make sure Record Enable is on. I'm going to try out my MIDI controller. I'm going to change the octave. All right, so now I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit because Electric tends to be kind of quiet. But let's go ahead, turn on the metronome, hit play, we'll hit record. And now this will loop, so when I'm ready, I can start playing it on my controller. All right, now there was a little bit of a delay because of the screen capture audio device that I'm using. So I'm going to double click on this clip. It's going to open up my MIDI notes. I'm going to shorten that one, and I'm actually going to quantize this so it's perfectly on beat. And the best way to do that is to click off of the note on the grid and hit Command A on your keyboard. You can also just click and drag to select all the notes, but then what you want to do is right click, quantize settings, and I want to do whole notes. So I'm going to change this to quarter notes because that's the closest we've got. And then I'm going to hit OK. And it kind of got it. Some of them are right, some of them aren't. So we're going to just go ahead and do it manually to finish these guys out. Again, we've got our bar markers up here to remind us where we're at. So I'm just going to collect those, drag, select these, oops, and we'll drag them out. And then let's hear it. Command C, Command V to copy over there. All right, now I think we should add a layer to that. So I'm going to right click this track, hit duplicate, go down here, double click on the track, and I'm actually going to delete this device and find a different device. We're going to go over to Instruments again. Let's try analog. This is like an analog synth. First part, it only comes in at the end. It's a little harsh, so let's go over to Audio Effects, grab Auto Filter, pull that down. I'm going to change it to a low pass, and I'm going to bring down some of the high frequencies. So let's listen to it here. Turn the metronome on. So automating in Ableton is a super easy process, and you can automate any parameter. The easiest way to do that is to right-click, show automation, and what that'll do is it'll kind of tab over this view, and you can get to this at any point by hitting A. Now, one thing I've noticed is that if you use your keyboard, like your computer keyboard, to play in notes, you actually want to press M. And M and A don't work well together. So if you have M enabled, where you can use your laptop or computer keyboard to play the instruments, hitting A will actually just hit a note and won't flip this over. So hit M, then A, and it'll work, and A tabs that over. So once you're in automation view, these lines represent the automated parameter, and it's really easy to select the different parameters. You can just go over here. This is the device on that track. This is the parameter of that device. So we're going to go down to analog. We're going to select auto filter, LFO sync rate. That's what we right clicked on. All right, so that sounded kind of cool. So let's select that part of the automation and we'll duplicate it for each chord. Well, that's pretty much it. Hopefully with what we've covered, you're able to dive in, start experimenting, and start making some cool music during your time of isolation. I would say definitely don't be afraid to mess anything up. You can always save, close out, open up a new project. It's totally all right to experiment and have fun with it. One of my favorite quotes, and I've mentioned it before in a video, is move fast and break things. So this is a great opportunity to dive in, dig deep, and have some fun. This wasn't a very in-depth tutorial, so if you very quickly get beyond the depths of this tutorial and you need some more support or help, do let me know in the comments below. I'll get back to you in a day, respond to any questions, and hopefully help you further. If you want to see a more advanced Ableton tutorial on this channel, please also let me know in the comments. I've been using Ableton for a while. It's my favorite software, and I would love an excuse to talk more about it. So thank you all for that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and like the video. Comment below. Let me know what video you'd like to see next. And Emma, what should they do?
Subscribe!
I don't think they heard you. What should they do?
Subscribe!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please do subscribe. It really helps support me, this channel. Gives Emma some support too. We really do appreciate it, and it would help enable me and just give me the energy to keep making more videos like this. So thank you again so much. I do hope you have a great rest of your day. Please stay indoors, please stay healthy and safe, and we'll see you in the next upload.